Hello YouTube world and welcome to another episode of Focus Knob. Hello once again. I thought I would do something different and do a flashlight review, but we're still in the spirit of focusing lights, so we're still good. I've been eyeing this flashlight for months now, and thanks to Sofirn, they sent me this flashlight for review. This is the IF30, really interesting flashlight. Nice looking box. Got a manual, lanyard, a USB-C charging cable, but no charger. And you got the flashlight. Looks like the flashlight bezel has been gouging the box during shipment. And it says read me. You gotta remove this battery protection so it prevents the flashlight from turning on during shipment. You gotta remove this. See this battery. So the battery is a big battery. It's a 32650, 6500 milliamp hours. Sofirn branded. Really feels nice. The thread is nice and smooth. And the flashlight looks great. Nicely machined. This is an all aluminum flashlight. And as you can see, it's got a big head with multiple LED emitters. And the interesting part about this flashlight is the dial. As opposed to just a simple button, this one has a rotary dial. Very nice. Very cool. Let's go over the specs. This is an all aluminum flashlight weighing in at 263 grams without battery and 410 grams with the battery, thanks to the 32650 lithium ion battery that it uses, which is pretty big battery. This flashlight feels very hefty, and you need that big battery to power something this powerful. So head diameter is about 2.5 inches, and the body length about just over 5 inches in length. It feels good in the hand, doesn't feel bulky, it just feels very hefty. I wouldn't want to be dropping this. And this is IPX8 rated, meaning you could submerge this in water up to 2 meters, and I believe for 30 minutes. Over here is the USB-C charging port with a silicone cover to keep it watertight. Very nice. This is the button. I'll talk about that later. But the start of the show are the emitters. And as you can see, it uses 12 LED emitters. On the outside, I believe these are Chinese branded emitters. Lattice power, model TN3535, capable of 12,000 lumens combined. And you can see the shallow reflector it uses, which produces a 70-degree flood beam, very floody. And in the center is a luminous SFT40 emitter capable of 2500 lumens with a very deep reflector capable of 6 degrees of spotlight beam. So that's the thrower beam. And the glass lens is anti-reflective coated. An interesting feature about this flashlight is the rotary dial style button. So this flashlight has a automatic lock feature that after 15 seconds of inactivity, it will automatically lock the button electronically so that you don't accidentally press it and cause a accident, because this thing does produce a lot of heat and you don't want this thing to accidentally turn on inside your backpack or your pocket and cause a fire or a burn. So in order to unlock the flashlight, you just rotate the dial past 60 degrees. Oftentimes I have to go 180 degrees. You have to do it one continuous motion, clockwise or counterclockwise. And once you see the green light, you can press the button and that turns on the flashlight. Like so. And after you turn it off and without touching it for 15 seconds, it will automatically lock. So once the flashlight is turned on, you can rotate the dial to adjust the brightness, clockwise to increase brightness, counterclockwise to decrease the brightness. And to change mode, you press the button, press and hold it. So that's flood mode, spotlight mode, flood and spotlight mode combined. So there's basically 3 modes. And if you want to do the strobe mode, I don't know why you would want the strobe mode. I hate the strobe mode. You press the button 3 times very quickly. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Press the button again and it goes back to normal. Press it again, turns off. I wanted to measure the true lumens output of this flashlight, so I created this makeshift light integration apparatus using a light diffuser plastic block. And I don't claim that this is very accurate, but I think it comes close enough that I'm confident that I'm getting a good reading. I've also tested this with my other flashlights and it comes very close to the stated specs on those flashlights. So I'm also confident that what I'm getting with this flashlight is pretty accurate. So on initial turn on and on turbo mode, I was getting just over 10,000 lumens of light output. And I'm also measuring the flashlight temperature. I connected the probe near the head, near the flashlight button where it heats up the most. So as you can see, the temperature quickly picks up and the lumen output also quickly drops. So this flashlight is thermally regulated, and according to specs, once the internal temperature of the flashlight reaches 55 degrees Celsius, it will start dropping the light output. And we're almost halfway there in lumens output. The lumens are dropping very quickly now, and the temperature is almost 55 degrees Celsius, and that's on the outside. So on the inside of the flashlight, it's going to be even more hotter. And eventually, after a minute and 40 seconds, the lumens settles to around 1200 lumens, and the temperature is now around 55 degrees Celsius. The flashlight is thermally responsive, so as the flashlight cools down, eventually it will start increasing the lumens output once again. Here's a daylight view of where I'm shooting, just for reference. It's a pretty grassy, tall grass field, and to the right is a small ditch where all the the monsoon rain will flow down and collect. So these emitters are supposed to be 6000 to 6500 Kelvin color temperature. I would consider it a neutral white to cool white. Personally, I prefer a slightly warmer tone. I feel that the warmer tone makes the green more neutral or natural looking. So ideally, I would prefer a 5500 Kelvin color temperature for a more natural look. This is in floodlight and spot mode together. So if you're scared of the dark, this flashlight is great because it turns night into day with no problem. It's like a car headlight, very bright. Most of the time I have the flashlight in both flood and spot mode. I don't normally use just the spotlight because I find that the beam pattern is too narrow and the illumination is too uneven and distracting. I like it with the both flood and spot where it evens out the illumination. This is a nice test shot. I like this. Okay, let's go. So that street sign at the far end is about 150 yards away, and the flashlight has no problem reaching it with the spotlight. Here is just plain flood, very floody beam. This is just spotlight. Easily reaches that street sign over there. That's flood and spotlight together, which is my favorite mode. I usually leave it at spot and flood together. I usually take my dog on her nightly walk for 3 miles, which takes us about an hour and a half to walk. And this flashlight has no problems lasting that long in turbo mode, which is pretty good. And if I want it to last for 2 days, I would simply put it in half brightness. And unfortunately, it's kind of hard to gauge where half brightness is. Using a lux meter, I was able to detect roughly 26 steps in the light ramp, which is quite a lot. And as the battery gets depleted, the number of steps gets less and less. So on a fully charged battery, there's roughly 26 steps, and by the time the battery is halfway, 50%, there would probably be maybe 15 steps left that you can go to. The IF30 definitely is a fun little flashlight. I like this flashlight. I like the aesthetics, I like the build quality, and I definitely like the brightness. 12,000 lumens, that's ridiculously fun. No doubt about it. I highly recommend this to anybody. Perhaps the only thing that I would change about it is the number of steps in the brightness changes. I don't need 26 steps. Nobody needs 26 steps. Perhaps cut that down to 10 steps so it's easier or quicker to change from low to high. And another thing I would change is the knurling on the dial. Perhaps make it less aggressive, and put a nylon washer underneath it so I don't hear the metal to metal grind when I'm rotating the dial. But other than that, it's a great flashlight. Thank you for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up to let others know this is good stuff. If you didn't like it, comment down below and let me have it. Also subscribe to my channel if you want to be notified of any future videos that I release. You'll be the first to know. Okay, until next time, see ya.